Hello. In this video, I will go over Packet Tracer 1.4.7 to configure router interfaces. So, what you see in here is it's a network topology that at this point seem very complicated. But for this exercise, we just gonna configure IP addresses on the routers interfaces and the PCs. So there are not a lot of tasks to be done beside those. Um, and looking at this topology here, sort of give you a preview of what's more likely the finals. Um, Maybe your practical finals will look like, but you have to do a little bit more uh, than than this exercise. But for now, let's just go through the labs and complete the objectives. Should be very straightforward. So the goal is to get you to understand how to configure the router's IP addresses on its interfaces. So we'll go through that. All right. So the objective is configure IP version 4 and then IP version 6 addresses. Then we going to ping using ping to verify the connectivity of the IP addresses that we put in. Okay, so let's start. Um, so first thing I'll do is if you go to options and preferences, you can click on this where it says always shows port labels. So this will show the interfaces of the routers that label as gig 01, gig 02, right? So you can see, make it easier. Um, all right. So essentially, using this table, addressing table here, you can configure the router's interfaces, right? Based on what it's listed here for you. All right, so let's begin with the router 1, and then we configure PC1, PC2, and then router 2, PC3, and PC4. So router 1, to log into the router's password is Cisco, and then we want to go to user privilege mode, and password is class. All right, so now we're here. We want to go to the configure mode. All right, so starting with router 1 interface, gig 0/0, we want to put the IP version 4 address. So IP address 172.16.20.1. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.128. That's a /25. And you want to do a no shutdown on the interface to turn it on. All right, so we're done with that interface. Let's go to interface gig 0/1 here, and we're going to put the IP version 4 address. So the mask is /25, so 255.255.255.128, and also no shutdown as well. Then lastly, for router 1 would be interface serial 0/0/0, IP address 209.165.200.225/30, that is 255.255.255.252. We'll review a little bit about subnetting when we get to that chapters. No shutdown on this interface as well. Alright, so I think that is done on the router one. So let's go to PC1, that we can put the IP address on PC1. So click on PC1, go to desktop, go to IP configurations, make sure it is static, and then we'll put in the IP address as 172.16.20.10. Subnet mask 255.255.255.128. Default gateway is 172.16.20.1. And we are done with PC1. Let's go to PC2. Same place here. So for PC2, the IP is 172.16.20.138, 255.255.255.128 for subnet mask. Default gateway 172.16.20.129. And we are done with PC2, I'm sorry. Let's double check PC1 real quick. Okay, I have it right. Make sure sometime go back to look at the IP address that you put into the devices, just for double checking. Alright, so at this point I can test connectivity from PC1 to PC2. So I'm going back to PC1. I click on command prompts, desktop command prompts, and then I'm going to ping the address of PC2, which is 172.16.20.138. We'll see if we get replies. Okay, so we did get replies here. So this request timeout, that's the first package. Usually it get lost due to the ARPS protocol that's trying to resolve in the back before you know, the other package were able to go through. We talk more about the ARPS protocol later on. Alright, so communication from PC1 to PC2 is good. So let's see if we can ping the dual stack server as well, 64.100.1.10. Again, right now ARPS protocol is running in background to find the right MAC address to send the packet. So okay, so we do get connections for dual stack server as well. Okay, so that is done on router 1. Alright, so now we go to router 2. Router 2, PC3 and PC4 are about configure IP version 6. So we've done IP version 4, right? So now we need to do IP version 6. So I'm on router 2. Let's log into it. Again, password is Cisco. Enable mode password is class. Right. So I'll go to configure terminal. Right. So for the interfaces of router 2 here, you want to go to interface gig 0/0 IP version 6. All right, so when you do IP version 6, make sure you do the v6 follow with the IP. Okay, so address. Okay, so follow what's on the table here, DBAC0DE 12/64. Okay, make sure no shutdown. So let's go to interface. Gigabit 0/1 IP version 6 address. No shutdown. And then let's go to interface. Serial 0, 1. So this interface here has two IP addresses, two IP version 6 addresses. One is a global address, right? And we'll learn about IP version 6 address format another time. But IP version 6 address, and you can have more than one on a single interface. All right. Again, no shutdown. Okay, at this point you are done with router 2. So let's go to PC3 to put the IP version 6 address on this PC here. So go to desktop, IP configurations. So here, this is the part where you put the IP version 6, okay? The top one is IP version 4, bottom one is IP version 6. So let's input the IP version 6 here on this PC. Default gateway, right? Looks good. Move on to PC4. Okay, looks good as well. All right. So at this point, again, let's verify with the ping. So I'll go to PC3, go to command prompt, and I'm going to ping the IP version 6 address of PC4. If you notice, there's no arts that needed here. It just kind of give you that instant connections replies, right? You don't lose that first package like IP version 4. Keep that in mind. And when you learn, essentially, you know the reason why. Once you get to IP version 6 chapters. All right, so at this point, I think we're done. You can test, do stack server as well. And you get connections as well, okay? And that should conclude the configurations of this packet tracer. I will see you guys on the next packet tracer.